This piece of architecture called man is a product of very deep divine intelligence. Most times, man or men should actually sit down and be taught what man is. You know, when David began to gaze into the vistas of the heavens, one of the things that happened to him was a realization of how strange this being that God took time in the studios of eternity to factor out of wisdom what he is about. And he screamed and he said, "What is man that thou art mindful of him?" As a prophet, he had access to the realms divine, and he must have interacted with certain celestial beings. You know, when you are prophetic, one of the edge you have is sight. And so when a prophet begins to wonder, having looked at the plethora of creations, and he did not pick out an archangel, because when you look upon the archangel, they are strange. When you see Michael, he's a weapon of war. Every dimension of his framework reveals power and strength. We have access into scriptures, and a little was told us about Lucifer, the son of the morning, before he fell, and the glory that he carried. He beamed like the sun. They factored into him were instruments of music. You can find keyboard, string instruments, drum instrument, wind instrument. So the creatures of heaven are strange. In fact, Revelation chapter 4 gave us another sight, and he began to talk to us about the 4 living creatures that had the face of a lion, the face of an eagle, the face of an ox, and the face of a man. So there are so many terrible beings in heaven, and for David not to wonder at any of these creatures, rather coming down to say, "What is man? I saw the angelic realm. I considered their ranks from the very heights of Zion. But what I saw about man, I can't explain it. So what is man that you are mindful of him? And you are not just mindful of him, you decided to deck him with glory and honor. Why didn't you put your majesty upon the archangels? Why did you choose man that looked vulnerable? What is this being?" So if you don't take time to study what man is, when spiritual realities are uttered, you will take it as face value. When God talks about man, it's deep. You know, when he created the world, in Genesis chapter 1, he said, God said. He was just talking and creating. But when he wanted to create man, the community of the Godhead had to converge again. You know, the Holy Ghost can be moving upon the face of the earth. The Father can sit on the throne. The world will be going forth. But for man to be created, let's gather together. There is a wisdom that we must cook out of the depths divine that has never been seen. Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. So man does not look like any being. That's why even the angels look upon man with awe. Because when man is walking in his true element, the only thing you should see is God. I know we take joy in the fact that we look like Yorubas. They say Yorubas have this shape. They are beautiful. That's mundane. They say Igbos, they are fair. So when you're an Igbo person, it's natural that there will be some glisters. That's mundane. The true essence of man is to mirror God. And so when man is not functioning in that capacity, he has not entered his element. And in the same vein, when God begins to talk about a reality that borders on man, you need to take time to study it, to understand it. Don't take it by face value. But you know, man is the only creature that have 3 kinds of life working in him at the same time. There's no creature, there are no creatures in any realm that have 3 order of life working in them at the same time. Only man functions like that. When you study the way man was built, in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, when he said, "Let us make man," there was a spiritual life that God designed to power the spirit of man. And then in Genesis 2:7, when he created man from the dust, there was another life that he injected into the flesh. And so in Leviticus 17 verse 11, it said the life of the flesh is in the blood. And after he sculpted the earth and put the spirit in him, it said he breathed into the man the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. So there is a life that powers the body, there is a life that powers the soul, and there is another life that powers the spirit. So when a man is walking, three orders of life is moving at the same time. You can't understand that creature until revelation is given to you. You don't know who you are. That's why a demon can come to your window at night. When you know who you are, you will laugh. Get behind me, Satan. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Barakada, Favana Tuale, Aroga Kapo.